I've just been setting out a load of mole traps on some new ground I've got to clear the moles on. They're about 100 acres of grass. The farmer's given it the first cut and he wants another couple of cuts off it before the end of the season. However, there's quite a few moles in the middle of it and around the edges. I've just gone to set about 10 mole traps down in the middle and a few around the edges. I couldn't film it, was chucking it down to the rain at the time. We'll just go and have a look where I set them. Great view, eh? It's quite hard spotting where the moles are at the moment because it's been cut. All the molehills have been flattened, so there's just loads of round piles where the molehills were, which are growing over quite quick as well, so it's taking a little bit of time to locate the runs. However, where I've set most of the traps, the moles have already started pushing back up through the surface, and underneath this field it's absolutely full of worms and leather jackets. Okay, now on all of these traps I set a little marker, just a wire peg, piece of plastic on it, which just helps me see where the traps are, and it prevents the farmer driving over them in his quad or his Land Rover. Okay, some people are asking what damage exactly does a mole do, so I'll try and explain a little bit quite quickly. If you can imagine this molehill, it's probably about a square foot, this one, and this is a small one, and there's one next to it. Will you imagine a farmer's field of either pasture or grazing being covered in molehills, and for every molehill that's grazing or pasture that the animals can't feed on. Not only that, but with very friable soil like this that gets churned out by the mole, it's really easy for weeds such as docks and thistles to reseed on those molehills as the seeds are getting blown about in the wind. And again, the farmers don't want that. They don't want thistles in the silage or docks in the silage. As the cutters are coming through the grass, because this grass will sort of grow a foot, 2 foot tall before it gets cut again, and as the cutters are coming through the grass, the soil with stones in it can not only damage the cutters, but some of the soil gets taken up with the silage, and this can cause the silage to rot and ferment. Okay, again, ruining a whole bale of silage, which is obviously, that's money. This is exactly some of the problem caused by the moles on fields of grass. The moles here have pushed up this rock through the soil, or they've caused it to collapse underneath, which has caused one end of it to come up. Okay, you can see then where the cutters have gone and hit the rock on the last cut. Okay, and I guarantee underneath here there'll be a mole run. Yeah, and there's a run there and a run there where it's just gone and collapsed in. Okay. Yeah, leather jackets again, all over the place. So I'll take that stone away. So if we look at some of the things that the moles are eating, things like these, okay, the earthworm, and also leather jackets. Okay, and leather jackets ultimately turn into daddy long legs or crane flies. Okay. Okay, and I've got a mixture of traps set. Very shallow run, that one you can see there, but it's covered in soil up to just above the spring. Hey, now this one's gone off already, and that's only been set about 10 minutes. I can see one of the springs hasn't got anything in. Okay, got a mole in that, just caught him, still alive, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, and that, oh look at that, he's straight down into the soil already. Okay, let me just dispatch it. And I say, when you see him freshly caught like this, what a lovely fur they've got. The proper velvety fur. Thing with moles is the fur doesn't lie in one direction like a normal animal. It lies straight up, so the mole can run through the tunnel or reverse back through the tunnel. Okay, quite a small one that. But yeah, what a lovely pelt that's got on it. It's always worth going back and checking your traps after you set them before you leave the area. Okay, I'm going to reset that trap now. I've not got my tripod with me, so I'm going to have to pocket my camera. Okay, and that's what they'll do sometimes. They'll fill the tunnels and fill your traps up with soil to set them off. Okay, let's reset that one. Okay, and that's only a couple of yards, about 3 or 4 yards away from that trap I've just checked. So that's probably the same mole. Okay, and that's where the towel packs come into their own. The tunnel traps, they can activate too quick if soil's pushed in front of them. But this style of trap, because you fill the trap up with soil when you set it, they're quite effective at catching these difficult moles, or these clever moles. Okay, there's a good close up of them. Proper big fangs on them. Okay, what you'll notice with their feet, these front feet, is that they're big for digging. Okay, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sort of fingers, as it were. But then they also have this 6th one here. It's almost like a thumb, but with no claw on it. Okay, powerful little digging and excavating feet. These are some newer mole traps I've bought recently. They're not quite as good as the ones I normally use. The trigger mechanism needs adjusting on these. I do need to adjust them. They're set about as fine as they can at the moment. But the hooks are a little long for my liking. The traps I normally use are flat pack mole traps, made over in Yorkshire, and I personally think they're the best you can get. Okay. Now, I've not seen one of those for a long time, an albino starling. Yeah, it'll be a young one, and I don't know whether that will actually colour up at all. But that's quite unusual, although I have seen them before. We also get quite a few crows around here that are not pure white like that starling, but they'll have white wings. Okay, and as I'm just crossing the field, just come across this other area that I couldn't see before, where the molehills are coming up. So I need to go back and get some more traps. Yeah, quite a few molehills here, so there'll certainly be 1 or 2 moles in this little patch.